Alright, welcome to Fight Fix with Frankie BARCA, episode 13. Obviously the UFC 132 wrap-up. Incredible card, I have to say. That was probably one of the most epic cards I've seen in a long time. Very exciting card to watch. The fights were just amazing. The results were amazing. Great to see great jiu-jitsu tactics in there, great wrestling tactics, great striking tactics. Very exciting card. Let's get to the card. Carlos Condit, Dong Hyun Kim. What a great start. Excellent patience from both fighters. Dong Hyun Kim setting up the takedown initially and getting it really well. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to take Carlos Condit down instantly and impose his game. He said, if the fight goes to the ground, this is Dong Hyun Kim, if the fight goes to the ground, it's going to be over. Well, the fight went to the ground, and instantly, Carlos Condit's ground game off his back is so underrated. It's often talked about, but we very rarely see it. So it's hard to really make a good judge of it. Well, Condit sweeping him almost instantly, showing his skill. Then he feints a left jab, actually throws a front kick, fakes a left jab, and then launches and lands a head-splitting flying knee, landing it clean on Dong Hyun Kim, putting him on his ass, then pounding out a TKO victory. Look, I feel a little bit for Carlos Condit. I thought it was a knockout, but anyway, referee Steve Mazzagatti jumps in, saving Dong Hyun Kim from any unnecessary damage, and puts an end to that. Very impressive performance from Carlos Condit. Picture perfect again. We saw what he could do with his hands against Dan Hardy, and then bam, comes out first round and knocks Dong Hyun Kim out cold. Unbelievable. He has to be in line with the title shot, especially after that electrifying performance, in my opinion. Maybe against GSP, who defends his welterweight title later on against Nick Diaz. So later in the year, so we'll see what happens. So a TKO victory in round one, a perfect way to start open proceedings for UFC 132. Unbelievable. Next fight, Ryan Bader, Tito Ortiz. Well, Tito's back. Game off his back was definitely notable in this fight. His back was definitely against the wall. Dana White expressing that, hey Tito, this is it. You haven't won since 06. You've got to do something. Boy, did he take care of business. A cautious start for both fighters. Tito rushes Bader with punches and lands a right uppercut. It was really funny because it looked pretty short to me, but Tito's a bull. He's strong. He rushes the pace. He put him on his heels, hit him with the uppercut, dropping him instantly. Uses some ground and pound. You can see him snake his right arm around his neck initially, then lets it go, then goes back to it. I was holding my breath. I couldn't believe, I called it that if someone was going to win this fight, it was off their back. I didn't think Tito would literally take him by the neck, fall to his back, and really back himself 140% and stick in that guillotine from death with the arm in. He was doing everything correctly. Bader was fighting as hard as he could and taps out. It was a tremendous guillotine. It was awesome to see Tito fighting off his back. He is an Abu Dhabi representative a couple of times. He hasn't been there once. He's been there a couple of times, I think. And he's very dangerous off his back. And it showed. Great finish. Great result for Tito. I'm sure Ryan Bader will be back again. But what a great performance for Tito Ortiz. And what, especially against a stud like Ryan Bader. I'm sure he must be so bummed being choked out 2 times in a row. John Jones put him in that guillotine. And then now Tito Ortiz putting him in a guillotine. Oh, ouch. But anyway, great performance by Tito. I just hope Tito Ortiz doesn't start getting on his, big ego thing. Tito's a pretty cool guy. But sometimes I think, look, he's just really, really emotionally charged. And obviously he's excited about the win and etc. So congratulations, Tito Ortiz. Great result. Keep it together, man. Push forward. Anyway, moving right along. Dennis Siver, Matt Wiman. It was too perfect. It was too good to be true. Both boys so aggressive immediately. Great hands from both fighters. Good to see Siver stuffing takedowns early. Obviously he was well prepared yet again for this so far in the fight early in the first round. Siver just so good at keeping it on his feet with a relentless Wiman fighting hard for the takedown. Eventually Siver gets the takedown on Wiman. I'm very impressed with Siver's ability to take control. Stands back up, keep it on the feet where he's best suited. Wiman then gets the takedown in the final seconds, taking, I think, maybe either taking the round or maybe even at this point in the fight. We didn't know this, but at that stage of end of round one, that was how the judges saw it, in my opinion. I thought it was pretty even. In fact, Siver defended most of it, got a takedown, landed a couple of shots, but Wiman landing a couple of shots, getting back onto his feet, showing his ability off his back, then initiating the takedown, to me, gave Wiman the round. Anyway, moving forward, round two. Wiman rushing Siver immediately, putting him to defend instantly. Siver making him pay as much as he possibly could, but finally gets put on his back, and Wiman opening up a cut with elbows over the right eyebrow, and Wiman continually imposing his strength in round two, keeping Siver on his back. Have to say, you have to control the posture of your opponent at all times when you're on your back. All it takes is 1 or 2 elbows and a couple of power shots to start the onslaught. And I think Wyman smelt blood in the water at this point. Dennis Siver's guard was suspect, and now I can see why. To me, it was definitely one round to Wyman, and even in the first, Wyman ahead for me. Round 3, a relentless performance by Wyman, pushing the pace, dictating where the scrap was going, and playing the game perfectly, strategically, technically, and tactically. Siver did well. He landed some good shots in all rounds. Then I thought for sure, Wyman's got this done. I thought he did way more than enough to win. And guess what? Dennis Siver wins by unanimous decision. I couldn't believe it. Those judges are a pack of unanimous idiots, in my opinion. Seriously, maybe Siver won a round at the most, and maybe even in the first. But in the second round, he got mauled, and in the third round, I don't think he did enough to really convince me that he was going to take the fight. For me, Matt Wyman's a stud, yeah. Siver stuffed some takedowns, yeah. He made him pay a couple of times, but nothing that was so decisive for me. That decision was ridiculous. Matt Wyman will be back. He has to be. The thing that really annoys me is that a guy goes into an 8-week training prep, or 6 to 8 weeks, puts in, all the homework. Siver did too, but it just wasn't enough for me. Wyman comes back and gets completely ripped off. I don't know. For me, Dennis Siver, count your lucky German stars. He did nothing for me off his back. He was dominated, technically outdone. I'm really mad about that decision. Moving ahead. Shane Roller, Melvin Gillard. If you happen to tune into my my predictions earlier before the fight took place, I had Melvin Gillard to win within the first 3 minutes by a knockout. Well, he won in 2 minutes 10. Melvin Gillard's a stud, a beast, and a very different fighter than his days pre-Greg Jackson's camp. He was dangerous from the very first 10 seconds, and I think Roller knew it too. I'm not putting any crap on Shane Roller. He's a stud too, but man, I don't want to be testing my chin against someone like Melvin Gillard, especially this time in his career. I can't wait to see him fight again, and I have to say Dana White might just give him a title shot against Frankie Edgar, or whatever the outcome is in the lightweight division when that shot comes about, whether it's Frankie Edgar or Gray Maynard. Who knows? Who cares? It's definitely going to be a great fight. Melvin Gillard is looking so dangerous and so relaxed and so explosive and so technical and so good. Moving on. Wanderlei Silva, Chris Leben. I didn't even give a prediction on this fight. Anything could happen. There was plenty of talk as to who everyone thought might win this fight, and I found it very difficult to give a pick, like I just mentioned in last week's blog. But tough matchup, tough fight. Both guys are just so heavy in the hands and love to stand in the pocket and throw down. Here's what happened. Oh my God, Leben KO'd Silva in 27 seconds. Both came out and just met in the middle. It's funny that Wanderlei actually landed a couple of good shots on Leben, but Leben just stood there like a stud, dropped that left hook and knocked him out cold. Feel for Wanderlei Silva, really do. 2 knockouts in a row. Or 2 wins, or 2 losses in a row. I don't know. Where does it go from here for Wanderlei Silva? I think it was 2 losses in a row. I can't remember. Who did Wanderlei Silva fight last? Someone out there help me. Please leave your comments below. Whatever your comments are, leave something. Please, I've got 20 subscribers. I know it's not breaking any records, but I'd love to hear from you. There's only been 5 comments since I started these episodes. So please, if you put your comments down below, get some interest going. I said, I know a lot of people are really passionate about these fights, just as much as me. Please leave your comments below if you care. Really appreciate it. In the press conference about it, Chris Leben said that, initially, the reason why he took up fighting was because of Wanderlei Silva. So, Wanderlei was saying that not enough people stand in front of him and throw down, and then after a couple of minutes they realize they're in some serious trouble and start moving. This time, Chris Leben stepped up, he stood there, he didn't take a step back, and he knocked him out. So, man, that's guts for you. Like I said, Leben thanked Wanderlei Silva for being his idol. It was great to see that respect in the ring, or in the cage, considering that. Take no prisoners away approach from both of these boys was incredible. It was an incredible outcome for Chris Leben and the UFC, for my opinion. The card was just looking more amazing as the night went on. Now, moving on to the main event, CRUZ versus Uriah Faber bantamweight at 135. What a great fight. Obviously, fight of the night. First round, way too much to tell. Great elusive movement from CRUZ. Faber landing and pressing the action. Faber getting tagged, Faber getting tagged, but still trying to push well in the wrestling department. Even CRUZ showing signs of great wrestling. Round 2. Furious pace, furious movement, hard to call. Great takedown in the end for CRUZ, playing the game really well. Reminding me a little bit about GSP type tactics. Uriah Faber still pressing for the takedown, but CRUZ just too elusive. Round 3, excellent round for both again. Hard to pick. CRUZ really tagging Faber at this stage, but Faber getting the takedown. Huge scrambles now into the championship rounds. Round 4, Faber dropping CRUZ in that round, looking stronger. Great elusiveness from CRUZ as well, and great chin. Man, he got smashed like a cat. He just leapt up off the ground and continued to scrap. Unbelievable. Still hard to say who's in front, but maybe CRUZ in front by a hair, considering the amount of shots he's starting to land on Faber. Round 5, a hard-fought last round for both fighters. Seems like CRUZ outstruck Faber, perhaps from where I was seeing the fight from. Might have even hurt Faber early in that round with that flying knee, out of nowhere. Great, solid, tough chins from both fighters. Dominick Cruz wins by unanimous decision. I wasn't convinced that he dominated as the scorecards might have suggested, but a very close fight. Congratulations to Cruz on a spectacular defending performance, defending, not a dominating, but a defending performance. But for Faber, he fought a very tough fight, showed great heart and toughness throughout the fight, always tried to find a way to win. He never stopped focusing, never stopped concentrating. Now, I'd love to see these two guys go at it again for Faber Cruz 3, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think for me, we will see Cruz rule the roost for a while yet, and I will continue to see Faber putting boys away until the scrap happens again. Might see them sooner than later in a three-peat. Also, they showed a great jiu-jitsu tactical fight with Donnie Walker and Jeff Hoagland. Jeff Hoagland by unanimous decision. A great jiu-jitsu back-and-forth battle. Check it out if you missed it online at UFC.com for all your results to relive your UFC ultimate moments. Ultimately, at the end of that, I thought both boys did really, really well. But Jeff Hoagland, man, what a great fight off his back as well. So, unfortunately, bad luck to our boy George Soropoulos, I have to say. Moving forward, he gets knocked out in the first round by Rafael Dos Anjos in 59 seconds. I had a chance to briefly speak to Leonard Gabriel about it, and he said, look, George was looking very, very dominating within the first initial stages of the fight. Backing Dos Anjos up, but in backing Dos Anjos up, Dos Anjos got a little bit desperate through that wild overhand right. Man, it touched George on the chin, dropped him, and you know what? Look, I'm glad that the referee stopped the fight when he did. Obviously George was in some trouble, but could George have maybe hung on a little bit? Who knows? We'll never know. Only George knows how hurt he was. But safe to say that I'm glad he stepped in. He was in massive trouble, so whether George would have had enough or would have been in the state of mind to actually do anything that would have prevented that. But Dos Anjos is no one to feel bad about losing to. Very, very strong in the hands. Obviously knockout power, and it showed. George will be back. We love you, dude. You're one of those Aussie battlers. It might be tough now, but you're a star in the making. I definitely feel that your star will shine. I'm sure it will. Chin up, mate. But overall, awesome card, exciting fights, great scraps, lots of action. Look forward to seeing the next fight. Next fight's going to be, I think, August 6th, UFC 133, which is Rashad Evans, Phil Davis. That's going to be a huge fight. And also we've got August 14th, I think Dan Hardy's fighting Chris Lytle on Versus. Man, that's going to be an unbelievable fight with both strikers going at it. I think Chris Lytle's got incredible jiu-jitsu on the ground. Dan Hardy's always improving, but lately he's been caught on his back. Hopefully against Chris Lytle, that could be curtains for him. Just a quick prediction there, but I think Dan's got enough to win the fight. Off his back, he's got to work hard. We'll see what happens. Thank you for tuning in to Fight Fix with Frankie Barca, episode 13 in the books. Thanks for tuning in. Leave your comments below. Talk soon. Peace.